Well, my very first memory in this life is sitting on the floor with a crayon and a bit of paper when I was about 3. I always drew and painted at home, and I made my first oil painting when I was 13 in my bedroom. My parents weren't very well off, but they used to give me art materials every Christmas, so that's the way I started. I've always been an artist, I think. I grew up in Australia, so Wai Tangi work was like an introduction for me into the whakapapa that I always knew I had, but I didn't know what it meant. I guess through my art and through, making contact with people on the coast and becoming strong in my Māori identity, because that was always lacking in me. I know this is what's made my life, but it's always been in conjunction with my artwork. At first, it was my own identity and my own whakapapa Māori. Then as my knowledge and understanding developed about the politics of Te Tiriti or Wai Tangi and our social histories, so then the themes become more prominent in my work. So when I made that painting, I was thinking about the fact that we do know our whakapapa, and that's something that we will always know, because that's something that won't ever be lost. But because we don't have our land anymore, it's also a great sadness and a great part of ourselves that's missing. So our identity will be a different one than it was unless we ever get our land back. Wars, from One Harawira's comment about the fact that we are in a war for the future of our children, and that's what prompted me to do that painting. When he made the speech, then I thought, well, I'm going to do an artwork which I can contribute to the K for Kids Fund that I've set up on Facebook, and what's the best way I can express what he has said. And I thought, well, it must be a painting about war. And never having done a painting about war before as such, I thought the first one that came to mind was Picasso's Guernica, which to me is one of the most wonderful paintings that's been made. I got the inspiration for Power to Define from an article written by Moana Jackson, and he was talking about the fact that the government has the power to define us and what that entails. And I thought to myself, well, all the things about the treaty and all those sort of political things, our loss of land and all that, and our own history before we were colonised as well. I mean, all those things come in when we actually defined ourselves, and we still can, but it's a lot harder now. And unfortunately, colonisation has made it impossible for some people to define themselves. Once I was introduced to tikanga Māori, well then that's what it's always been. I grew up in Australia, and to me, I mean, it was just it was a huge revelation. And I thought to myself, I can't paint all the sort of fuzzy, warm things about being Māori. I have to paint the reality. I mean, that's what it is. It's the reality of Māori life today. It's got to be put by me on canvas, because otherwise I have to think about it myself. That's how I can deal with it. And, since then, a lot of my paintings have been the result of current events that have been happening, because I think I've just been inspired to do the mahi at the time of something political or whatever going on. But also, I've still kept the warm, fuzzy side and the celebratory side. Yeah, that's my probably two strands of what I do. But you can't separate one from the other. I can't see how you could just do the happy side, really.